they'd be going in totally blind. Gavin's intel brief confirmed 4 hostages and 6 Green Army faction eco-terrorists, armed and trained. But intel on a hostage rescue operation like this was always sketchy. John Clark's warning echoed in his head. Stay frosty out there. You don't know what you don't know. True that. It's time, Ding whispered in everyone's comms. Roger that, Midas confirmed. Jack watched Ding's boat veer off at a sharp angle, its bulletproof armor-plate rubber skin shredding water into the turn. The small drilling platform had 2 access ladders. Jack's boat would take the front. Ding and Dom would scramble up the back. On training runs with the Norwegian MJK, Marinjea coming down this past week, the weather had been cold but calm, and they'd been able to get the timing down perfectly. But out here, tonight, on a raging North Sea, everything was up for grabs. The mission had 2 goals: save the hostages and kill or capture the tangos. The Green Army faction threatened not only to kill the captured oil workers, but also to blow the rig, causing another catastrophic oil spill disaster like Deepwater Horizon if their ransom demands weren't met. American policy had always been to ignore ransom demands from terrorists. Meeting them inevitably led to more terror. Any student of history knew that. But some governments and corporations apparently didn't read history. Those were the people Green Army faction targeted, profitably. But in this case, intel from an informant indicated that the group on the rig had no intention of surrendering after the money transfer. In their sick minds, they planned on saving the earth by poisoning the sea in order to fuel more public outrage at the oil industry. Killing the oil rig workers was a sacred bonus, like ISIS butchering captive infidels. The decommissioned oil rig stood in an abandoned field dead center in the North Sea and in international waters. The Texas wildcatting team was developing new fracking-style technology to revive dead underwater wells. The GAF got wind of it and struck. When it became clear that the hostages would be killed, the company's desperate security chief called his friend John Clark, hoping Clark could mobilize some of his old Rainbow Six connections. But with only a 4-hour window remaining, there weren't any options. Except one. By sheer coincidence, John Clark had arranged for the campus operators to train with MJK operators for exactly this kind of mission just 2 hours away. The Norwegian government wouldn't allow the MJK to aid in the assault, but Clark called in a few chits and arranged for the Mavik, a Swedish-built CB-90 class fast assault craft, to drop the team off. After that, they were on their own. The hastily devised plan was that both campus teams would scale the ladders at the same time and make a simultaneous assault on 3 of the 4 buildings on the rig, taking out bad guys along the way. Jack's team would take the front of the platform. Midas and Adara would go for the crew's quarters, where the hostages were probably kept, while Jack cleared the control room, after which he'd drive toward the machine shop. On the backside of the rig, Ding's 2-man team would first assault the drilling and process modules, where the explosives were undoubtedly positioned. After clearing them, they would support the assault on the crew's quarters or machine shop as needed. Each team would drive toward the center of the facility, herding any surviving GAF fighters into the middle and forcing them to surrender. Or die. At least, that was the plan. They all agreed that clear and constant communication was key to their success. No telling what the real situation was on the rig, or the precise number of either terrorists or hostages. Their biggest challenge tonight beyond the hellish weather was their limited firepower. Each team member carried the same 2 suppressed weapons systems, short-barreled Sig Sauer MPX submachine guns and Sig Sauer P229 pistols, both in 9mm. They couldn't use larger calibers for fear of overpenetration, and explosives or even flashbang grenades were out of the question in the highly flammable environment. Brains, brawn, and steady hands were their only force multipliers. Given the makeup of the team, Jack figured that was good enough.